Hunter, and UFC 202 is coming up, and I can't wait to play DraftKIngs MMA. DraftKIngs is a really fun way to play fantasy MMA where you can win big money while watching the greatest sport in the world. Let me break down the scoring for you. You get a half point for significant strikes, 1 point for an advancement, 2 points for a takedown, 2 points for a reversal or a sweep, and 3 points for a knockdown. But where you really get your points is your finishes. So, if GSP comes back, don't pick him. I'm kidding, he's the best. But you get 100 points for a first round finish, 70 for a second, 50 for a third, and 40 for the championship rounds. DraftKings MMA is a fun thing to play with your buddies. If there's a guy at the gym who kicks your ass in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, beat him in DraftKings MMA, where it really counts. If there's a girl you like, but you can't figure out a way to ask her out, play her in DraftKings MMA. Prove to her that you're good at making smart choices. Women love that. Trust me. Here are my 5 fighters that I think would be really good picks for UFC 202. Number 1 is Nate Diaz. Nate won the first fight with only a 3-day training camp, or as Neil Magny calls it, overtraining. And I think he'll do even better this fight. I just think he's too big for Conor McGregor. Conor walks around at 170, and Nate walks around stoned. People say, Adam, what about Conor's movement coach? Good point. Hopefully after this fight, he'll move back down to 145. Listen, this should be a fun fight, because these two have worse blood than Brock Lesnar. But after the first fight, it appears that Nate didn't just take Conor's soul, he took his clothes as well. I'm picking Nate by second or third round stoppage. I just think Nate beats him on the feet, and he's got more subs than Roy Nelson's fridge. Picking Nate Diaz is fun for DraftKings because you can feel like you were part of the 209 without actually having to go to the 209. My second fighter that I think would be a great pick is Anthony Johnson over Glover Teixeira. Love Anthony Johnson. The guy's been in all 3 weight classes as the Kardashians. The guy hits harder than Nick Diaz's bomb. Every time he lands a punch, Ariel Helwani starts crying again. I like Glover, I just don't think he could take Rumble's power, even if he tries to frustrate him and brings a yoga mat into the octagon. I got Rumble by early stoppage. Another fighter I would pick is Cody No Love over Takeya Mizugaki. Cody's been in the octagon for a short time and already has more highlights than Sage Northcutt's hair. Don't worry, Sage will never hear that joke. He's not allowed to use the internet. Cody is 9-0 with 8 knockouts and decided he was going to be a full-time fighter once he got a neck tattoo. Plus, he always has a chip on his shoulder because the other parents, the Team Alpha Male, don't let their sons play with him due to his scary tattoos. Mizugaki has lost 2 out of 3 fights, and who knows where his head's at now that Pokemon Go's on the scene. I got Cody by early knockout. Another fighter I would take is Raquel Pennington over Liz Phillips. Raquel has won 3 out of 4 with wins over Bethe Correia, Jessica Andrade, and Ashley Evans-Smith. Liz has lost 2 out of 3 and barely got by Jessamyn Duke. Liz keeps her hands low. She's tough, but I've seen better defense at the NBA All-Star Game. I got Raquel by early sub. And my 5th pick would be Randa Marcos over Courtney Casey. Look, never choose against a girl who lived in Iraq and Canada, because Canada is one scary place. Randa looked great in her last fight against Jocelyn Jones-Lieberger. I haven't seen a Canadian inflict that much damage since the last Nickelback album. Listen, I got Randa by submission or majority decision. Here are my fights that I would stay away from because they are too hard to pick. Cowboy versus Rick Story. Look, I know it's tempting to pick Cowboy. He's the only cowboy that ever wins. Plus, the guy would fight himself in the octagon if they let him. However, Rick Story is on a 3-fight winning streak. The fight's at 170, and he's been involved in more split decisions than a Moyle. Another fight I would stay away from is Neil Magny versus Lorenz Larkin. Lorenz Larkin is very talented and unconventional, but Magny has upset more fighters than USADA. Both these guys have been looking great lately. In fact, the only time Larkin ever looks bad is when he leaves the barber. I would stay away from that fight as well. Here's my pro tip. Since you get the most points for finishes, heavyweights are always good to pick. Most of those guys gas during the walk to the octagon. Well, hopefully I helped a bit. I can't wait to play DraftKings at UFC 202. Thanks for watching.